wiring that just say push.
Okay.
And now there's wiring and stuff like that. It's gonna be about 3,000. And Bobby's followed out okay with us. So now we gotta go to the CPA.
In our substance abuse, they've got credentialed people working for them as counselors. Christine Goodluck, state Julianne and Kuka Scott should be licensed in the state of Montana. Moving Southwest credentials always Utah. And then Mary Rock Flatmouth, Sargie, he does it, and Randy are also certified alcohol drug counselors, and the substance abuse has qualified people to work with the population that they serve. And Hina Abalchim Jose Sagula, Jose Cuervo, he was a friend of mine. Detox, Kotmi Koku. We don't have a detox him in it. Detox cooked and Baluit because you have to take them elsewhere to get detoxed, and then take Billings Rimrock Foundation cook. If you're out of Billings, they want you to detox the patient and then send them to treatment there, and there's 5,000. And then we need our own. So if we had one, we could generate some income through that. And then MSPI, Human MS Suicide Prevention Initiative, they're lifesavers. They put in 24/7, and they're on call constantly. They work with families. They work with individuals who are attempting suicide or ideating or have a failed attempt, and Babuk Shigazi, and with social services, today we have an increased number of pro-foster homes in social workers that work in the different programs. Like I said, work with very needy families, and they do what they can to help them. And in Mofage, Bachishkaru, referring to myself or my brothers. You have to remember that these people are in pain, and wounded Koduk, they're wounded in more ways than one. And if you look beyond the behavior, the people that work in this field, to me, have a big heart, and compassion is essential when you work with the population that these folks work with. And in CHR, they develop the natural elements, and this year it has just let me see how this weather. And Kodeta, CHR drivers, Shobehi, Chuck Saga, couldn't buy Tagalog, Billy Solag, dialysis, Solag, shared Solag, the programs under health are important programs because they all work with human lives, and they're compassionate people, and if they're not compassionate, then they don't belong in the business, because we are working with wounded people. Layoffs, under Health and Human Services, there was approximately 110 under Health and Human Services. And in a plan, Kadaji talked to a lady developed Kojiki all of the cabinet heads, and hours when they get restricted by our plan, because big hole they want chasing big hole were in need of money and a job, and I didn't want to lay off someone that was in need of a job. That was the main sole source of support. Im hours could they get reduced by half time go by. And in Busby detention a couple of months ago, Vice Chairman Winfield Russell Bogart and Colin, can you come and visit with them, do a group page, Malay. And then Birgish the guy in Colin, however, 13, she was already experiencing withdrawal from alcohol. And I look out, well, I say to read you, in substance abuse, Bob gave that at that age, and she came from a family of alcoholics and drug abusers, and she didn't have a chance. And because no one at home was sober enough to intervene on her behalf. Drugs go there, and go family substances go there. Nobody was clean and sober enough to get her out of there and provide her with a life. In other reservations, they're going through the same substance abuse and use issues as our reservation at Biru. They're not, I don't think they're at that level yet, where a 13-year-old is going through alcohol withdrawal. Needs, 4 years ago, substance abuse going on in a reservation, sought need detox by homeless shelter, my children's receiving home or an emergency shelter. And I don't know whatever happened to that, but at the last meeting we had with the legislators, it was mentioned that the chairman had assigned Paula Fisher and some others to start working on the receiving home, and it took collegiate. In Health Board, the Pro Health Board, they want to meet with us and work with us because health concerns, issues, they experience the same things that Crow clientele experience. Nursing home board, health board, could they want to meet together? Because in a nursing home, some of the things that have surfaced are very much similar to what's been surfacing with IHS. And 5 minutes to cut, Irish. I'm getting carried away here. Meetings good as how we've had between the Tribal Health Board and the IHS area office. Anna Sorrell, CEO, Wade, Dr. Moore, and Garland Stifford, couldn't read him. In February 5th, Kadesh Hospital, go my long. Chairman Okai, Kolak, Vice Secretary Sean Kukolak, Senator Alden, and Senator Burdenground were there. And they brought up some good issues, especially the chairman. Quality of care of patients. He loved that there was a treaty responsibility for our health care. There was an obligation for better health care. And as a result of that meeting, March, Ganesh Health Board had a meeting here. Anna Sorrell, the Ganesh Balaji, and they brought the survey completed from 2010. And that, in a health board quote in January, the Goksada Michi, they wanted to see the reports from the internal investigation that was done in the fall of 2012. And in the report survey of 2010, attorneys the most recent survey to make about a week ago, information and the attorney, this email go to him. Now the past 2 weeks my email hasn't been working. If the email go to, if I didn't respond, I'm not ignoring you. By his side, it goes out. I sent messages and I'm not getting any in. In January, the chairman also wrote a letter of support for the health board, and then the legislators who they can really supportive of the health board. And in March, Ganesh, the first part of March, State Kodero Gate Nursing Home, they did a survey, and medication issue, they were not giving out the medication as prescribed by the physician. And they were on, they almost jeopardized that facility into being shut down. Corrective plan could develop correct you could complain I make sure that the right people are made aware of it. In the meeting today, I bring it up. And in the secrets kill. I'm sure some of you social workers have heard that saying, domestic violence, if they keep it a secret, eventually that victim gets killed, or that victim will get tired of it and kill the perpetrator. And in the secrets, it's very unhealthy, and they come out eventually. And to me, transparency was important. Good gosh, I think that we all need to be on the same page, keep people informed. And I don't like to hear things on the street. I would rather hear it from the people that I work with, because something's wrong. And honesty and being upfront is really important in the business that we do. But meetings per week throughout the day, throughout the month, throughout the week, and I had a 10 o'clock meeting that I was totally unaware of because email LIS. So I probably missed a series of meetings since my email has been off. And then phone make your aladamishik. It'll work when it wants to. And then phone so I'm at a disadvantage of that's no big deal. That goes in the book of who cares. I can get things done that need to get done. And I'm here to do a job for the Crow people. And 3 years in this new administration, and I think that we all need to give it our best effort to make positive changes, because change begins with you. I can't change anybody. You have to have that desire. You have to have that want to change yourself. And we're examples. We have to walk our talk. Kalagoich, if you have any questions for me.
Oh, thank you. Well, the floor is open for questions, comments. Floor is panel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the body. Yes, Jacqueline, I commend you on your report also. No? This packet at least gives us some detail, something to look at, and some maybe the departments can follow your lead and look at your report. You have many departments under your watch. I'm Bill in the legislative branch, Health and Human Services Committee Chairman. I wish him, Vice Chairman Shona, Senator Burdenground is his department. Senator Bergen, and that's good. And he's right on some of these health and human services issues, especially the IHS issues that we've tried to start working on. One of our first goals was to get that health board going, and we worked together and got that going. Hopefully their feet are off the ground and they alleviate some of that pressure for you, and they can concentrate on some of the IHS issues, and we follow up with them. And I think that's the biggest thing, is following up on these issues, because that's a big problem right now, the IHS issues. Coach, that and the health board is one of the most important committees. I think we've got some of these committees that are just out there and where you are told my and the health board, they're actually getting some stuff done, and they're one of the most important committees, and pay-wise, they should be getting compensated. And if you can, as a cabinet head, look into that. And I know it's written into the law, and other than that, I'm glad to work with you, and you can let us know what we can do over here on the legislative side, working together.
Pat. Go ahead, Jacqueline. Anyway, I wanted to make a comment in regards to that issue that we had here at that meeting last week. We were having that follow-up meeting in regards to the meeting we had at the county. I thought that was great communication that was very necessary, so we could coordinate with all the agencies that were required, rather than trying to shut someone out just because they're tribal. And that's why we wanted to have that coordination. I know I didn't give it my full attention. I was kind of in and out of that meeting in the office with other duties there, but I wanted to commend your program and your staff that were there at that meeting. Any more questions, Conrad Stewart?
Okay, I just had some questions. As we all know, there's there's a lot of problems with diabetes, and those are some of the big questions that we have. I know Senator Burdenground and I have been talking about this a lot, and surrounding this issue. A lot of the people out there are asking questions. How come there's nothing going on for diabetes, and what's the outreach issues, or who do they talk to? What's going on? Because really they're absent from the community, and being that diabetes is chronic disease, and every one of us knows somebody or has it, and we also know some people that have went to the other side now. And I wanted to find out where we were at with that, and why all these issues you talk about, they're valid, and they're straight up concerns. We have, my dad's been involved with, as you know, he started working with the other child and detox under the Claire's administration, and all these different things that have gone on. I've always, I've always been involved with different ones that needed help. We'd go out and get them. He never asked for mileage or anything like that. And he'd go to town and he'd pick up different ones, It's like my Uncle Jackson, I remember he always had me at the house. We'd feed him, go eat. And I asked my dad, I said, Dad, when I was young, I asked him, I said, these ones, because they're good people, should help us train and build sweat, and we pray together, we pray with them, or kind of therapy like that, My dad told me, he said, everybody, you take care of them. Because these ones that they're having problems, he said, don't put them down. Because when they're like this, he said, take care of them. Because he said, you don't do it for these ones to look at you. You do it because that's one of his children too, he said. And he said, I don't go around and say, this is what I've done, this is what I do. And he said, when I come out of it, he said, back then, he told me, he said, that we didn't have treatment. He said, we have to go before the judge and tell him we're alcoholic and insane. And he said, at that time, and he told me, he said, so on the record, I'm insane, he said. But that's what has to be done. If you really want to get something done, you don't have the luxury of just going in and out of treatment, he said. But people have to treat each other like people, he said. And then that way, instead of treating them like a drunk or a bum or whatever, you treat them like a person that they are, and then give them that respect to come out of it, you know, and then so forth. And that's kind of the same kind of the intent that I like to see for our diabetics. Right now, they hit for God, you know, and what are we doing about for them? I know that we used to have walks and prevention, and now we even lost that program over there at Pool. They don't even go over there. Conrad Costa used to do a program over there with water aerobics as a man instructor, and the men, Crow men, even. They're kind of afraid to do things. The women are really better because there's a bunch of them, they all help each other, and there's a lot. But the Crow men, they don't even get involved. But when Conrad Costa was doing that, shoot, they exceeded 30 guys at one time. And that fool, that bow-legged white lady, that mean one that Paul always used to fight around with, she's yeah, Forney, that's her name. She's the one that, and I've seen it. They put division in that pool, and they said, you Indians, be on this side. These guys will stay on this side. You guys stay away from each other. And you women, be over there. You men, be over here. I mean, there was progress. And there was about 30, sometimes the next time they'd have it, there might be 25 men. But young ones even, not just the older ones. Young ones, and they're doing water aerobics and shooting. Kind of reached out there, and with respect to the men, and the men were getting involved. And we don't even have that no more, We don't have that kind of outreach. I asked the question, what goes on over there? They said, home visits. My wife's diabetic, nobody visited her. My dad's diabetic, nobody visited her. My aunt's diabetic, nobody visited her. Got a lot of people in my district. Asked around, did they ever visit you? No. So really, to tell you the truth, that's not effective. And a lot of these things, like Paul and I know I kind of depend on his knowledge because he's been involved in a lot of this. And Insanity, P90X, that's great for the young ones, but for the ones that are diabetic and have kind of been diabetic for a while, it's not good for their tendons, and it's not good for their, because their blood flow, they get swelled up, because of the blood flow. And then I was told Healthy Hearts is going to go now, because Fort Brownham's taking it from us. Why is another tribe taking it from us anyway? All these issues that are coming about, whatever may be the case, whatever we can do, if we need to pass a resolution, if we need to get on top of this, we'll do it. Because I know that's a good program. Manny used to have it before, and I remember my wife, they get her shoes, and then in wintertime they give her some boots. Then I remember the men, they give them Red Wings, the ones that worked. So that way they always have some good comfortable feet, so or shoes that won't hurt their feet. And the women, they give them bathing suits, stuff like that, and if they walked or run, or tried to, they give them sweats, like those sweatsuits. Things like that, they have the money for that, and it's kind of sad we're losing that program. And right now with that CDPI monies, I got a hold of my friend in DC, and it was extended, we all know that. And there's $150 million there. And so the grant monies that we get at the Crook Tribe, what really do we do with that monies on CDPI? And with the chronic diabetes that we do have here, you know, I'd like to address those problems because it's all something that we should have took care of here. And then when we went to Rockville, we were taking grassroots problems here and bringing it over there because the area office weren't taking care of it, or else our AO or whoever wasn't doing it here. Because our people are sitting in there's no follow-up, they have to go on same days, and if they do get an appointment, you know, they have to call in and do all this, and a lot of them are tired. They're on dialysis, or else they're, you know, just their blood sugar high and low. They don't have proper prescription for their eyes because their bloods are not controlled. And so, what are we doing? You know, we kind of need somebody involved in these that know the pain of what they're going through. We don't need to neglect this program. I hate to see us lose money. In fact, I'd like to see us go get more money, so in that way we can start building some prevention facilities. And maybe ultimately, my goal, I'd like to ultimately see, and I brought that out to my colleagues on the co-board. The Crow people need a one-stop shop for diabetic prevention. Just like St. V's built over there in Billings. They build a one-stop shop. They go in there, there's follow-up, there's prevention, there's guidance, nutritionists, there's physical therapy, everything's right there. So then that way we can go ahead and heal our people so they can go into the communities and live longer for their loved ones. And then that way they don't have unfinished business. Right now we have so many people that cross over, they have unfinished business. And our land right now, we have fractionated interests. It's affecting everything around us, see? And it's hurting us as a people. Our land base, our people, our quantum, everything. And when they're sick like that, they get anxiety, they're afraid to go out, afraid to just go check mail sometimes, and things like that, triggers those things like that. Because I know we all live with it, different ones, and we care for, we have loved ones that way, and so we kind of we're accustomed to some of the needs that they require, and so, you know, recognizing that they're people, and to try to recognize them not as a sick person, but to recognize them as a person, so then that way they don't feel left out. That, you know, maybe we can get something going for the positive things, and we talked about positive change. Man, we can bring that to the communities. I welcome it in my district. I don't know who to work with. I welcome it in my district. And all these different things that are going on with all the money that we're getting, we should be doing a lot. And that's something, my request, where are we at in this?
Sunny, can you come up here? Address some of the questions that you had. And Healthy Hearts. एक portfölj kon spirit koji musically grantee garage camp in Crow. There was another site that they picked, and then they didn't maintain the numbers, and Amanit J. Raleigh stuff, Rob said they took us out.
Flo recognizes sending on face.
Hi, I'm the SDPI coordinator for the Special Diabetes Program for Residents. I work closely with Todd and Jackie, and with all our planning, Todd oversees everything. I get approval from him for all my events. And our SD program goes from June to May, and for this past June, I'll tell you all the events that we did. Starting in June, we had a police walk. Beginning of June, we had a prayer fun walk, healthy lifestyle walk. We hopped at the 3-on-3, the Ultimate Warrior Youth Camp, career fair fun walk, and then we had our own, the fitness center fun walk and run, and then we had swimming, and then our sign-in sheets from the Bulls Fitness Center. And for the month of June, we brought in 1,604 participants. July, we had our watermelon fun days. That was a walk in Lodge Grass. And then they had the casino power, so we switched over because our numbers were low. So we had the casino, Pavon, Crow, swimming, and our sign-in sheets. August, we had our anti-bully walk with MSPI. We had an open house at Crow and Lodge Grass Fitness Center. We had fun walks at the Tribe College and the Fitness Center in Crow and Lodge Grass. So the month of August, that was open to anyone. We had another kind of like a community fun walk activities in Pryor for the month of August that brought in 1,221 participants. September, we started our 50-mile club, and that's open to anyone at Lodge Grass and Crow Fitness Center. And that you just come in, you get assessed by one of the fitness aides for your fitness levels, and then it's up to you. You can either use a bike, treadmill, or walk around IHS and do your miles. And you have like the whole month of September and October to get your 50 miles in. We had 88 people finish for that. We had our prior walking club. It's kind of like a 50-mile club, but theirs is more walking. We had the community walk, MSPI, and then for October, we had diabetes community education open to the public. We had our Halloween walk and then our sign-in sheets. And then for November, we had the smoke out. We collaborated with Seattle Plain Feather, and like through this whole time, we do our outreach to the diabetes presentations. We had our diabetes awareness community walk, and that day it was like freezing cold. It was like blizzardy. We had our first annual diabetes bingo, where our bingo set is diabetes, and it's diabetes education. We had 122 people for that one. We had our sign-in sheets. For the month of November, we had 681 participants. December was kind of slow. We just had our sign-in sheets, people that come in and get assessed, and it was 764. January, we started the 100-mile club, and so far we had, I think, 250 people sign up, and I think about 75 of them finished. For the month of February, we had our annual push dance. We collaborate with the tribe. Our basketball games at Lodge Grass, Pryor, and Hardin basketball games. And I think for the month of March, we just had a couple walks, and then the 100-mile club. And then we have our Harder Crow Country coming in May. But for the diabetes part, our outreach works with Ella Richards, the diabetes educator at IHS. She gives the outreach workers a registry, diabetes registry, and from there they go out in this registry. I think was 897 of diabetics on incubation. And we have, at that time we had 5 outreach workers. They go out, they do home visits to the people on the diabetes, and they pick at random. They give them the random people to go and see. And they work with them for, I think this was like, we probably got it in July. Then they took it away from us at the end of October because they had some glitches in there where some people weren't diabetic, but they were on the list. So I just took it back, and then with me, Todd, we went in, we were trying to get the list, we didn't get the list back till the end of January. Then we started back up the whole month of February and up to now, and we're still doing diabetes. The diabetes is still going and meeting with the ones on the registry. So, the swimming pool was, it was a really good turnout. We were doing good, and just from the vice secretary went down to Todd, our director, and they just didn't renew the contract. So we had to get up with them. And that's about, I don't know, you guys come visit our fitness center anytime. And that's it.
So recognize Paul Miller.
Thank you, Chair. Speaker of the House, Secretary. Again, we got this budget here that says $160,000. And I ran this program for about 4 or 5 years. And so you look at every quarter they drop $225,000 in the general fund for this program. And so no, I was besides that, I think they're getting cheated here, $70,000. I mean, if they didn't take away if they didn't take away that, if you guys never lost money from that $895,000 that you get yearly.
With my budget, it kind of comes like, I hand in all our major events that I plan, and it's just by monthly, and I don't even have an accurate, like, I
preach you, I gotta do a good job. I'm proud of you. But you need to let them know that you got 70,000 to help these pro people that have diabetes, like eye care, and those are still your best practices, right?
Yeah.
Eye care.
Oh, yeah, I should mention that. Yeah, we have our eye care and podiatry tech, and that's at IHS.
Yeah, so somebody needs, maybe Todd Wilson needs to let those guys know that you're being cheated 70,000. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Go ahead, CJ.
You know, I appreciate all the things that, I guess, we never get notices of those in our district as district representatives. I know that we used to have the biggest turnout for walkers, and for prior having 1,000 walkers in one setting, that's pretty darn good.
That was for the whole month, it wasn't just that.
No, I knew. But, you know, that's the thing is there's 6 districts here. And I think every one of these districts need to be a part of this. You know, I know that we, you know, there's a lot of these ones, from what I've been told, is that they kind of like their privacy, and then they kind of they don't like to go in there, and they want to use equipment and stuff, but there's a lot of people on them, and they're not, you know, per se diabetic, I guess. Not that we're pushing them away, because we want a prevention, you know, we want to prevent. But what happens to the ones that need to, you know, get on some of this stuff? And I think it needs to be addressed, because right now, if you look at that grant, $865,000 is what you got. And right now, you don't even know where it's at. And so, you know, I think we need to start looking at this as far as those different monies that come in. We need to make more coverage. You know what I mean? Walks and some of those things are great, but out of those 800 people, you know, maybe you could work with these districts here and ask them, who's all in your district on these lists? And that way we can reach out and we have these walks, we can get a hold of these people. You know, because before they would always give them a towel and different things like that, and you know, they'd always participate like that. Right now, I don't know. I mean, this is the first time I heard of all these activities. I've never knew that there was anything really going on over there. And then when people go over there was always, you know, they try to get in there ahead of time before they have to do things. And I guess nobody knows who was the boss, and you know, I'm just speaking from my district. You know, I don't know what's going on with these guys here. I'm sure there's probably other things going on, but you know, we have facilities. We're right here by Hardin. We have right here by Crow, and there's a lot of things going on right in this area. And I think we need to be concerned about the ones that are in this bad way right now. That how do we establish follow-up? You know, when we're looking at the different issues, you know, when we pinpoint these issues as far as follow-up, I always bring that out because right now these ones have to get into the line that same day. There might be only, say, 10 slots. Who secures slots for them? You know, so then these ones can have a fair shake at this follow-up. And when they do get in for an appointment, then, you know, a lot of times it's not on time, and they're sitting in that waiting room. It's almost kind of like an outer abuse, you know, because they're sitting there foregoing meals, and their sugars are either going too high or too low, and they don't want to lose their spot. And that's some of the biggest complaints. And those, like what I said, those are some of the issues that we have to take to an area when we could actually take care of that. We're getting paid to take care of those problems here. And so if no one's addressing these problems or even knows about any of these problems to address IHS and let them know, hey, first priority should be our diabetic folks. We need to look at them. And these doctors turn around and say they don't want to see no new patients. That's wrong. Somebody has to be an advocate for that. And I think that's you. So you got people here that you can use. Right now we're asking you, please help them. Because right now there's people out there, and right now we have to prioritize them. because they don't get to get in. And now with this Obamacare, they're scared. They think that they have to get on this insurance and they're going to get taxed. And I'm trying to get out there and let them know that you're not, because there is going to be an exemption for natives as a treaty tribe. You know, we shouldn't be pushed to get a insurance because our primary care, we already prepaid it with some of our lands and sessions and ceded. And so with that being known, we have to know that history so we can make an argument. And if you don't know the history, you have elected here that can make that argument for you. And right now we have people over there that basically, the way I see it, they don't care, you know. And we need to be advocates in the IHS and tell them, hey, we got people out there. See them. They try to get glasses, and at the time when they get their prescription, their sugars might be too high or too low. It's not accurate because they're not controlled, and they're continually to, just like the other day, my dad's sitting in the hospital over here at the swing bedside. He's doing better, but they had their monitor. They recognized him at 187 sugar. He checked his, it was 254. So now between that difference, the one he got here, he's scared now. So now they give him 2 shots, you know, and then he thinks, you know, that anxiety kicks in because he doesn't want it to go too low or too high. And so that's the anxiety that they live with day to day. And so he's thinking, I need to get some sugar, I need to drink some juice. And so I think we need to get out there and let them know this. I mean, I guess I'm just telling you from experience. Right now, I think we can do a better job. We got 800 and something thousand. And if the CPAs aren't doing something for you, or telling you about this, then I think we should come together and bring it out.
Floor is Paul. Melissa, did you have a response, Cindy?
Oh, yeah, I just want to say that I would love to work with you guys, like when we do events and be more involved to help with the districts.
Floor is Paul.
All right, something just to help you out. Next time they have you do a report or you request a report, just send in this diabetes cares outcomes and audit summary. And IHS has got that and just put it in the report. And so it summarizes all the things from the active registry to obesity, A1Cs, you know, all that blood pressure, the percents of the whole hospital and hospitals. So, you know, you just put that in there. That's your main thing. Now here is your bread and butter. And you just put that into let these guys see it. It will explain everything.
One more thing, Mr. Speaker. I commend you. You know, for your, you know, everybody. We can all do a better job. And I'll be the first to say that. And you know, I commend you for what you're doing. You know, it's tough. These issues we're up against every day, they're tough because we're dealing with life and death. If we don't do it this way, someone could die. If we don't do it this way, someone could die. You know, and we have to be serious about it. And so it is. You know, I've led people as supervisor before, and the ones that are under us, if we don't take something serious, they won't. So we need to take it seriously. We need to lead by example. We need to be there, open the doors. We need to go out there and talk to these ones that are hurting. These ones that don't have a voice. They're getting paid to talk for them. We're getting paid to represent them. I think today we can establish some kind of you know, recognition of what needs to get done, so that way we can work to achieve the same goals. But together, I just want to give you that that we have to lead by example. We have to put our people up when they do good. We can't always put them down. That's the easy road. And so we need to lead by example. I hope you're doing a good job.
Can I say one thing, just real quick? I don't know if you guys, you don't know me, my name is Randy Fitzpatrick.
anyway, I just wanted to commend you because I
Go
weighed,
to the, use the mic.
I lost 62 pounds. I'm diabetic. I had full-blown diabetes, and if it wasn't for the diabetic program, the IHS, and then since after Crow Fair, I've lost 62 pounds, and what they set up for us over there for diabetics, because I didn't want to go into that main area and work out with men or anybody that would look at me, you know. So they set up a room back there, and so they have a elliptical, a bike, and a treadmill, and they measured me when I first started, and they followed me. I went every single day, faithfully, except for the last 2 weeks, and then I got to start on my next 50 pounds. But anyway, I'm an example. I'm diabetic. I got my blood sugars. I used to be out of control. Mine were 600 and 800 and all kinds of stuff, you know. Mine are 90 to 117 now. My A1C is 5.5, and my cholesterol's way down. And I know that a lot of times that if you just go over there and do that, because that was my biggest thing, because my self-esteem was low. When you're overweight and you're diabetic, you don't feel good. You don't want to go out in public. But I had to because I work anyway. But people can do it if we just get out there. But I wanted to commend them because Sunny's the one who helped me. She is. So, thank you.
And that's what I was saying, is that there's a lot of them like that. You know, they don't have that, you know, they don't feel as good as they want to be. And so, with all the money that we bring into that fitness center, it should be directed directly to the diabetics. And there shouldn't have to be just a room set aside. But, you know, like that, you know, 800-something thousand, we should have our own building, you know.
Thank you, CJ. Thank you, Jacqueline. Sunny, your staff, thank you for having the patience to sit through all the other reports. Look, katiga chakshi zata bawish zata koram bila kukuraga koma. It is now 4:34. I'll need a motion to recess to tomorrow at 10 a.m. Motion by Pat, second by Paul Spotted Horse. All in favor, say aye. Okay, have a good evening, gentlemen. Anybody have any announcements? No? Okay. I'll have a safe trip home and a safe trip back tomorrow.